Greetings everyone, how goes things? Okay, so first I'd like to apologize for taking so long to bring out a new video. I think the last one I made was sometime at the end of last year, and I kind of feel bad because I know that I made a lot of promises, but hey, better late than never, right? In any case, today I'll be showcasing a very special series of drawings I did for the Mercenaries of Mischief. They're a pretty neatos group of guys and girls who are starting out by streaming their Dungeons & Dragons adventures on Twitch. I basically felt like it would be cool to record it because it gives me the opportunity to show the process of creating characters with nothing more than a general description. So I asked if it would be okay, and I got the go ahead from my commissioner Jonathan, who was very on board with the idea. If you'd like to go check them out, I'll put their YouTube and Twitch links respectively in the description. They're Twitch streaming two campaigns at the moment, the first being Risen from the Ruins on Sunday 6 PM, and the second is Too Many Warlocks, which streams at 8:30 PM, which is quite literally a whole party full of warlocks. Both campaigns feature some of my proudest artwork, so I really hope the mercs get some good use out of them as they level up in the online world. Anyway, you guys came here for drawings, not to hear me blather on. My first character goes by the name of KITHRI TEALEAF, a halfling warlock with an air of cockiness, or confidence, either way. The description was pretty simple, so I felt like I had license to go crazy and more or less do what I want. Freedom is generally always fun, though it sometimes feels like it could be easier to mess it all up by getting carried away. KITHRI is 3'1", has an athletic build, auburn curly hair, green eyes, a fair complexion, and a green cloak. She also has a short sword, and I was specifically asked to draw with a cocky attitude. As normal with my drawings, I kind of became conscious of the fact that my frame was facing to the right, consistent with how I normally draw characters for some reason. It kind of makes me wonder if left-handed people draw their characters mostly facing to the left. In any case, I decided to switch it around so I could have something different for a change. When I felt like the pose looked confident enough and the proportions didn't look weird, I started with the first layer of fleshing it out. I tried to make it look like she was standing a little higher than the viewer without removing reference to her short stature, to better emphasize her attitude. Halflings are supposed to have sort of squat proportions, and in hindsight, I feel like I didn't communicate this as well as I'd have liked. The best way to achieve this accurately would have been to draw the hips slightly shorter and wider without quite turning the model into a dwarf. I'm not complaining too much though, it's definitely possible in my opinion, though many would accuse me of trying to draw a gnome. Hopefully nobody will get upset with me for drawing the body without clothing to begin with, but when it comes to art, it's better to know what's happening beneath the exterior. It's improved my drawings quite a bit to do it in this way, even though it does take a little longer. Also, it allows you to kind of plan out the outfit that would best suit the character model, especially since for some reason I sometimes struggle with female characters. I guess most drawings I did in the past were guys, as most of the characters I drew starting out were characters played by myself and my friends, who were all mostly dudes, so I never got a lot of practice. Halflings generally have curly hair, which is something that, come to think of it, I've never actually really drawn. This is supposed to be quite a lot of fun, so I draw several renditions just to experiment a bit until I found something I was happy with, even though it does look a little messy. For her clothes I decided to go with something practical that would match nicely with a green cloak and make her look like a true adventurer. In theory, her garb would have some amount of style while providing protection for both combat and the elements. I felt like KITHRI was the kind of girl who had a lot of personality, and I tried to portray this in her dress sense in a way that shows she deliberately assembled her outfit instead of throwing on random items of adventurer's clothing. This eventually ended in a protective leather corset girded by a belt and tunic that ended up changing into a sort of gi simply because it really appealed to me as a concept. I then gave her a pair of upper greaves over some comfortable linen pants and knee-high boots to keep her legs and feet warm. You can have the best clothes ever, but no adventurer is content to travel anywhere with cold feet. I also gave her buckled leather arm braces to match her greaves, and it tied up the whole aesthetic nicely. I did feel like maybe I should have added some more feminine touches, but I also didn't want to overwhelm the image, which is something that's surprisingly easy to do. On the other hand, it's probably something I should have taken the opportunity to experiment with. So besides adding a few details, I pretty much have what I had planned in terms of drawing this character. The colour turned out looking pretty good. I started out with some rosy halfling cheeks to go with her fair complexion, which was well complemented by green eyes. I couldn't get a definitive answer for what auburn hair looks like, so researching it didn't really work out great. In the end, I just kind of went with a guess at what color it would be. I think the best way to leave a good impression when it comes to your general color scheme is to have a bit of contrast without allowing the colors to clash. I found this works best when you arrange them in order. For example, I knew the color scheme would end up being sky blue with the green cape coming second and the brown leathers at third, while the yellows came for the smallest details. There's probably some professional artists out there saying I'm full of crap, but that's okay. I'm just sharing what I've learned so far. I'm not really trying to pretend I know something. I decided the leather needed texture to make it pop out a little more, as it looked a little flat and smooth. I experimented with some brushes to see if anything would work and found a brush in the millions of brushes that I believe I'll probably never ever remember to use again. After that, all that was really left was the shading and lighting. There's not much to speak of at this point, except that I kind of have a lot of work to do before I truly understand light, especially when it comes to more complex or realistic drawings. Light reflects off different surfaces in varying ways, and it's always fun to try and guess how it would affect varying textures. It definitely brings more dimension into the drawing and emphasizes areas that would otherwise be visually confusing. The last thing I did was add some texture to the hair. Just like the armor, it felt a little bit flat. I used the word plasticky even though it's probably the worst way to describe it. Back on the subject of lighting, I've been trying something a little different to make the light blend a little better with the image, which basically involves making separate layers for light and shadow before smudging the harsh edges slightly. I quite like this effect and it feels really satisfying to complete the drawing with it. So there we have KITHRI TEALEAF. It's always good to check if all the specifics are correct and make sure the details are alright before sending it in, of course. But I think everything has been accounted for. I'm fairly happy with this, but in the end it's all about what the client thinks that's important. Either way, it's been really fun. Sort of excited to get working on the next one, so wish me luck. Special thanks to everyone at Mercs of Mischief for allowing me to record their drawings. I wish you guys all the best for your adventures ahead. I tend to listen to D&D stories a lot while drawing, so I'll catch up with you guys sooner or later. I've basically already gotten started on the first campaign in my spare time, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Thanks as well to everyone for watching. If you like this video, well, hint hint and all that jazz. Don't make me feel bad for asking you to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Well, till YouTube decides to be funny about it. Anyway, all the best and see you guys next time. Cheers everyone.